Hello and welcome back to my garden. I'm continuing on with the garden tour that I started last week. This is part 2 and we were just leaving the potager garden, and so now we are coming around to the herb garden, and that was last Thursday that I filmed the part 1 tour, and we've just had a lot of rain, really rainy week, and which has been great for the garden, not so great for doing a tour. So it is now Sunday, May the 24th, and let's take a look at the herb garden. But before we get there, this is the apple tree that I planted. We planted a pear tree, an apple tree, and 6 others. This tree, one thing I have noticed since it rained is it's got these little spots on the leaves, which I'm concerned about, and will probably photograph that and send that to Jason to see what he thinks of that. I just want to be on top of anything that any problems. So this is a gala apple tree, and then the companion is right over here. That's a Liberty apple right there, and so it just needs a cross pollinator, and so we're excited about the fruit trees. Okay, so this is the herb garden. This is actually the oldest garden that I have. My mom and I started this. Gosh, it's been at least 15 years. And we started out with, this little Stella de Ora Daylily, which has been divided several times. This is the original clump, and then this is another clump that was divided off from that. And then we also planted this lantana, which comes back every year and is beautiful, and it's just starting to bloom. This is the first day I've noticed little blooms on it. And let's see, what else do we have? We have parsley here. This is the second year for this parsley, so it's just been really prolific, and I've gotten several good cuttings off of it. That's a moon plant, which is a beautiful big plant that will put out white flowers that bloom in the evening. And then we've got catnip, which I planted last fall. This was, again, one of my clearance sale finds, and I often see our cat Smokey putting his nose in this and rubbing up against it, so he loves that, and I will make tea out of it. It's a nice, soothing nighttime tea. Let's see, what else do we have? We have some fennel right here. I just found out that fennel actually comes back as a 2-year plant, so and I pulled mine last year. I thought, it didn't do very well. So this year I will be leaving the fennel, and hopefully I'll get some nice fennel bulbs. Let's see, I have chives, again, one of my clearance finds. And then these pansies, which I plant every fall, and I just love, but they're actually starting to get a little sad looking. It's been really hot the last couple of days, and so these will come up, and then I will put basil in their place. And then, of course, we've got some daylilies back here as well, and those will bloom really pretty, probably mid-June, with big pretty orange flowers. So. And then the last little thing I wanted to show you was this close-up of the elderberry that Jason was telling me about. That's the wild elderberry. That's the companion to my elderberry that I planted, that will cross-pollinate that. So, and you can also see in this shot our really bad fencing. This was meant to be kind of a temporary fence that kept the chickens out. We have had a breach here lately. I have one hen that really likes to jump over this and come through it, and so that's what we will be doing this week, is fixing that fence and getting that roll of wire stretched across this space, and some new T-posts put in, and so forth. So always a project. We are coming around here to the chicken coop, and my chickens are just coming in for the night. It's about 7 o'clock in the evening, and they are coming back to the run and finding good stuff in there. And that right there is a scarlet runner bean, a couple of scarlet runner beans that I've got planted in this pot. So hopefully those will run up across the fence and provide a little shade for the girls this summer. So we have got Ruby right there. That's she's a red sex link. And then we've got my two light Brahmas. That's Hindi and Cindy. Of course, Fabio the rooster. And then that's little Napoleona. Ian named her Napoleon. I said she's a girl, so she's Napoleona. And let's see, there's Frenchie, who's an Easter egger. And then we've got, let me see, let's go this way. And that's, let's see, on the right there is Pepper. And then Marty is my Rhode Island Red. Thank you, Fabio. I'm not sure what that noise is. And this is the coop that Mark built, which he used salvaged porch railings from a porch that he tore down and rebuilt. And so we have barely any money in the materials, but a lot of time in painting. But I think it turned out really, really well. And today is actually the chickies' 4th week. Their 1-month birthday, and so they are back there in the back of the coop. I have kind of fitted that out a little bit better than before. I just had a cage back there, but they've gotten so big, and I fitted that out so that they would have a little more room. So that's my coop, and we could probably do a whole chicken tour, so I'm not going to say too much about the chickens, but that's their little setup there. So now we're into the section of the garden where I'm growing my vegetables, and I started here with some beans. These were one of the first things I planted back in April, and they are Roma beans. And I planted this, I planted that, and then I planted another keyhole bed on the other side, and these were the only ones that came up. So these are about a month old, and I didn't think they were climbers, but I'm wondering now if I'm going to need to trellis them because they look like they want to climb. So I've got the Roma beans, and then I've planted, filled in with a few Cherokee purple beans here. And then I've also got this cantaloupe there that I'm hoping will just kind of run out and across the yard here. So, and then let's see, what else have I got? On this side, we've got wax beans. They're yellow green bean. And then along the back here, because that is kind of hard to reach, I've just sowed a variety of flower seeds, cosmos and zinnias and black-eyed Susans and that sort of thing. And then back here, we've got Tramasino squash, and then the Bales. And so along the back here, I've got some peppers. The next bale is zucchini, Black Beauty zucchini. And then we've got some watermelon seedling sprouts that my friend Patty gave to me. So I am really looking forward to maybe that watermelon running across the back there. And then I've got a couple more pepper plants there. So that is my keyhole bed. Oh my gosh, that scared me. And there's a little froggy friend hopping through my garden. Coming around here now, I've got some more hay bales, 4 to be exact, and these have okra in them, so I just sowed the seed directly into the bales, and I've got a couple little sprouts that I just noticed this morning, so that's exciting. And then I've also got okra in these 2 garden boxes. And on the left, I've got dwarf okra. I've done really well with it in the past. And then the one on the right has a red burgundy okra. And these also have little sprouts in them, which I noticed a couple of days ago. So that's exciting. And then the back of these boxes, I've got Trombosino squash again. These will grow up tall in a trellis, and they put out a squash that's kind of a cross between a yellow squash and a zucchini. It's kind of a light green squash. It's really tasty, and these are a vine borer resistant variety. I've had problems with vine borers in the past, and so this was an heirloom variety that I found in the So True catalog which is a company out of Asheville that does a lot of heirloom seeds. And so I had a good bit of success with these last year. So I'm happy to have those in my garden again. Right here at the back of this fence are two more of the fruit trees. This is the peach on the left, and then there's plum there on the right. And so this is our north tree line, and we did have to cut out a few limbs in order to open up some sun to those trees. So that's another project for this week, is dragging all those limbs away. So, and just coming around here, this third box here is, normally this comes up in zinnias every year. They just come up, but we've had such a cold May that I have not seen any zinnia sprouts in this yet. I did go ahead and just sow like kind of a wildflower mix in there and a few more zinnia seeds, just because I love having, you know, a box that just has pretty flowers. Toward the back of the box, I've got some leftover radish sprout or plants here that are putting out flowers, and this one actually has a lot of seed pods, which these are edible, the radish seed pods, and they're actually really tasty. But I think I'm going to just leave these and see if I can gather some seed from these. So that's what I'm doing there. And then at the fourth bed here, I've got some snow peas. And last week I was saying that I was not getting any snow peas and my snow peas were a failure. But now look at them. I've got like snow peas, lots of snow peas all along here. And so I'm excited about that, and I think I may actually get maybe one more harvest out of these before I pull them all down. So coming around here to the other side, you can see where I've got some cucumbers coming up there, and so when I pull all those, I will train those cucumbers to go up this trellis to replace the peas. And then what the other things that are in this bed are, this is a kale that was a volunteer kale that's putting out all these seed pods, and I want to harvest the seed from that. So I'm just leaving those. Again, those are edible, and they are really tasty. But I think this is a hardy variety because it did volunteer in my garden. So I'm looking forward to collecting that seed. I have got a little bit of kale there that didn't do too great. I'll probably harvest that soon. I've got some parsley that I sowed from seed, a cilantro plant. I just never have success with cilantro. It always bolts. This one I just took the whole top of it off because it had bolted. You can see this other one. See what it does? I'm just not impressed. So anyways, that's my cilantro. And then I've got a couple of dill that I planted. Not from seed. These are just plants that I bought at a local nursery. They had them on sale. They were only 99 cents each, so I thought I would grab a couple dills. And then I've got some dill from seed that I planted there too. And there's some leftover green onions that I need to just go ahead and get on out of there. I did plant one more time, and then there's a little bit of oregano there too. So this is just kind of a hodgepodge bed of herbs and things. Here we're gonna catch the last of the garden. These are my last two bales, and these have squash in them. So this is a winter squash. There's an acorn squash, and over here we have a pumpkin that I planted from seed. So I'm looking forward to that. And then also at the back of the bales, I've got two more zucchini plants. So I'm hoping the runners from these winter squash will just kind of run out across the yard here and just cover all of this. I'll probably lay some more mulch in this area and just cover all that grass. As you can see, this hasn't been mowed lately. We're really sick of mowing. We're sick of keeping a mower running, and so this may just be the year that we We just cover it all with mulch and plants and things that are running over the yard, and so that we don't have to mow. So that's been a goal of Mark's for a long time. So this is a sunchoke, and this is another thing that I bought from Jason when I bought the elderberry. Sunchokes are a native perennial. These grow really, really big and tall and put out a yellow flower, but the tuber is what's edible, and they can be sliced real thin and put down in pickle juice, and they're absolutely delicious. So this is kind of what's left that was in this pot from last year, and then I planted all of these along the fence line from that pot last year, so those will all be sunchokes. So down in this pot of sunchokes, I also just put a yellow squash there, a crookneck squash. That's just for Grammy because I know how much she loves crookneck. And here's another crookneck. I've got some eggplant back there, just black beauty eggplant. These are a couple of different varieties of peppers that I bought from just a local gal that I found on Facebook. I've got like a rainbow blend. I've got a banana pepper, a Jimmy Nardello pepper there at the back. So those are my peppers, and then the tomatoes here, which this spot in the yard is actually, this little bit of space is the spot. You can see the potted peppers, the tomatoes, and the strawberry bed there. This spot gets the most sun of any spot in my yard, and it gets 9 o'clock in the morning, it gets sun, and then by 4 it's still in sun. But the rest of the yard, even the garden boxes, even this spot over here, all of it, I'm looking at maybe 10 to 3 more like. So I'm trying this. This is an experiment this year because I've never had success with tomatoes, and I'm just trying them in this spot with lots and lots of sun. So hopefully this will work. And I do have these little tomatoes on here, and I wish I could tell you what variety these are. I'm going to have to ask my friend Randy at T5. He gave me these. He just had a few extra tomato plants that he wasn't going to use, and he passed these along to me. So I don't know what variety they are. So we'll see. And then this is the strawberry bed. I bought the strawberry plants last year. Strawberries are perennial. I just put them in a pot. They didn't really produce anything. So this year I finally was able to create this bed. And so far I've gotten just a few strawberries. It's been really, really wet. So I've had a lot of waterlogged looking strawberries. So we'll see. This is still, kind of a work in progress. But I am excited about this. Along the edge here I planted, well, first of all I planted some thyme at the corners of this bed because I read that thyme was a good companion plant for strawberries, kind of keeps the bugs away and so forth. So I planted another thyme right there. And then the other good companion plant for strawberries is borage, and so I planted some borage there, which is an herb, and those little sprouts came up just a few days ago. So that's my borage. And then I also, along the back edge there's a little bit of dirt there that I've planted some marigolds, and so that's that will hopefully be helpful to these strawberries as well. Also a good companion plant. So, and then across the bed I've got, let's see, I'm just gonna step right across here. This is a roselle, which is hibiscus. It's a tea, and it's not very impressive right now. It's kind of in the okra family. It likes lots of sun. It gets really, really big, I'm told, like about 4 feet tall, so 4 feet wide. So we'll see. Doesn't look real happy right now, but I'm hoping it'll kind of perk up. So that's the last of it. That's the last of the vegetable garden. It is almost dark, and I just saw a firefly flit by, the first one I've seen all year. This is my favorite time of night to just sit outside as the sun is setting on the garden. Thank you for joining me for the tour, and I hope to do this again sometime later in the summer when things have gotten a little bit bigger and prettier and more productive. Night night.